Using a mask can give you a headache. And here's how, and here's why, and here's what you can do to get rid of that, okay? So stick with this. By the end of this, you're going to know at least 6-7 things, plus a breathing technique on how to help you from getting migraines from wearing a mask and having too much carbon dioxide buildup. Okay? Talk to you soon. Okay, guys. So these days, this is the old N95 mask, and it's supposed to be the kind of the hallmark that everybody wants you to wear, and people are wearing all kinds of things which don't really work, but whatever. I mean, you wear what you can, do what you can. And we're going to talk about what happens when you wear a mask for too long. Any mask, you're building up carbon dioxide in your system. Carbon dioxide is a waste product. It's a poison that can cause you trouble. So we're going to work on how to get rid of that. So CO2 is carbon dioxide. There's 2 oxygens on there. CO is not what we breathe out, okay? That's what cars breathe out, and that's how if you're in an enclosed space and with exhaust or something like that, you can actually die really quickly. It's an irreversible reaction as opposed to this, which is completely reversible. We just add oxygen or breathe more. Now, one of the things that happens is every breath out, we're putting out a little bit of CO2, and in this little space inside the mask, we're then decreasing by percentage. Every time I breathe out, a little bit of oxygen is still there, of course, but we're also increasing the percentage of CO2. So I'm continuing to breathe in more CO2. When I was a dive master and worked as a rescue diver and scuba diving and all this kind of stuff, we did the thing called skip breathing. You're not supposed to do it, and it's to conserve air. And what you do is you take a little breath in, you hold it for a little while, and breathe out real slow. And what that ends up doing is builds up a lot of CO2 in your system, and you get a really bad headache for about a day, especially if you're dehydrated. So main number one thing with wearing a mask or buildup of CO2 is H2O, water. Lots of water. Drink a lot of water. You're going to need more. Besides, water is going to increase the mucous membranes and make sure that those are nice and moist. And that's one of your primary lines of defense. And we want to make sure that we have a good line of defense and mucus buildup and good mucus and able to move it effectively. And that way we can actually get all this stuff out, and it protects us from actually getting a virus. So this is a really good thing. CO2 will build up because of a process we have, which is called cellular respiration. When you breathe in oxygen O2 is about 18%, and put a little squiggle, 18% of the air we breathe. Nitrogen, which is completely inert, is about 78%. Okay, and there's a little bit of variation depending on what altitude you have and humidity and things like that, but here we are in Colorado. It's a very dry environment. We have to be extra hydrated because there's a lot less moisture in the air, and it's harder for us to move that air and to absorb it. That's why we have a nose. Our nose has mucous membranes which warm and moisten the air and filter it through the hairs, and that goes all the way down, and the moist air is easier to absorb into the bloodstream. So the heart and the lungs are connected, and they pull in oxygen and let go of CO2. Now, the more we're walking around with these things, the more we're active, and if we're not really that healthy in the first place, it's going to be harder for us to do the exchange of oxygen. Some of us have other underlying conditions, asthma and COPD or whatever. And if we're not working efficiently, this is going to build up again, and we're going to get those headaches, those migraines. And they're terrible. I've been seeing a lot of them in the office. That's why I wanted to do this kind of video. When the oxygen gets to the cell, it's burned up in a process called cellular respiration, a thing called the mitochondria, and you make ATP, and one of the byproducts is water. There we go, water. We're going to recycle it. And the other byproduct is CO2. CO2 builds up in the system. It has to be gotten rid of. When CO2 is in the system, this is in the blood, in the plasma, it builds up carbonic acid bad. Okay, pH, if you remember anything about pH is the potential of hydrogen to do something. If the pH is above 7, it's called alkaline. If it's below 7, it's called acidic. Our blood pH should be about 7.45. Okay, yes, 7.45. So it's a little bit alkaline. It should stay a little bit alkaline. If it changes too much, you can go into a coma. Oh, this is really bad. You can pass out. If you're wearing a mask and you notice you've had like numbness or tingling in through here, that's part of that process, and you need to start breathing more efficiently. And here's some things that you can do right off the top, which I'm going to show you. I'll just list them actually as we're going, because I want you to take the proper nutrition other than water, okay? Because water is probably the best that you can do, but you can take other things like NADH. You can take B12, B6, B9. You say folic acid, basically. You can take also, what is it called? Citrulline. Citrulline, okay, which is an amino acid that your body makes. You can find it more in watermelon, so you can eat more watermelon and get more water. And you can do arginine, which is another amino acid which will help with oxygenation. And you can probably also do, what else? Coenzyme Q10, CoQ10. These all will help with oxygenation, and they can actually reduce your blood pressure over time. Ask your provider, though, to see if these are okay for you, because really we don't want to get too crazy with these things, especially if you have other medications and other issues. These might hassle you, so we don't want to do too much of those. But that's what I would do. I would jump on getting those, but the number one I would do always and forever is more H2O. Okay, so how to do the breathing technique to get rid of CO2 and help oxygenate more of your body. So even with the mask on, this can work, but you're going to have to do a little bit more pushing for that, because you got to get that CO2 out. Remember, in the air, we have about 18% oxygen. We have about 4% or 2%, whatever it is, something like that, is CO2. We don't like CO2. It builds up acid. We got to get rid of it. So here's what happens. When you breathe in oxygen, think of a normal breath. A regular breath, 1, 2, 3 in, 1, 2 hold, 1, 2, 3 out, something like that. Maybe 3 seconds, 2 seconds, 4 seconds, depending on your size, your efficiency, what you've been doing. Okay, but we're going to do something different. We're going to bring in the normal amount, 1, 2, 3, right? And we're going to hold it for, let's do double. Hold 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then when we're done holding it, allowing it to exchange as much as possible inside the lungs, we're dropping off oxygen for the body, getting CO2, okay, to breathe out. As we breathe out, we're going to breathe out more of that CO2. Breathing out for as long as we can. Now, we'd like to do 3, 6, 12, sometimes too hard, but as we're breathing out, really push in your stomach while you do that. That'll raise the diaphragm, help push some of that stuff out. In the mask, we're breathing in, holding, and then breathing out. You feel a lot of heat in there, of course, but we're actually going to diffuse more of that out, because this more pressure is what we are. It's called partial pressure, the different parts of air that take, but it is by pressure that you can release some. So as you breathe in, breathe in a good amount, hold it for double the amount if you can, breathe out for double that amount, and that'll off-gas more CO2. You don't want to do it too much. You will get lightheaded, okay, and then you can end up with a headache. So you don't want to wear this thing too much. So if you're having to be at work all the time, you want to take some breaks and do some deep breathing techniques. Those deep breathing techniques can be like we just explained, or you can do other things like just simple breathing, but you want to really do some deeper stuff. Other simple deep breathing techniques, and I've been teaching meditation for almost 20 years, and I've been teaching I taught scuba diving for a long time. I helped to teach scuba diving actually for a long time, and had a lot of people that I would help coach with those kind of things. And I also teach some mindfulness and meditation, and also with my healthcare practice, we have to teach people how to breathe many times because they're in pain and they don't breathe. So what you want to do is hand on the chest, hand on the belly. As you breathe in, I want you to push out your belly hand first as it breathe in, and then your chest. And then as you breathe out, your chest goes down, and then your belly. So we're kind of like as you fill a glass of water, it fills from the bottom up, and then as you drink from a straw, say, it comes from the top down. That's the way we want to have our breathing go. That'll help you breathe. That'll help you hopefully get rid of the migraine, help you from getting the migraine. Take some supplements, drink some water, because water is the most important thing, and hopefully you're safe. If you guys are breathing well and you're getting that moist air in and you're hydrated, you should be fine. Okay, do your meditations and stuff like that. This is Dr. Sean over at the Natural Body Works, and don't forget to subscribe, because I have many more videos, and this was for everybody that I know, because I've seen a lot of people with migraines for this, and I want you guys to not have to suffer. So water's the biggest one, I think. Okay. breathing. If you're having more problems, you keep getting dizzy spells, or you're having migraines like that, go see somebody and talk to them about these kind of things and see if they can come up with maybe some more ideas, because there's a lot of ideas out there and there's a lot of good things that work and there's a lot of things that might not work, but we want to make sure that we can do what we can to get through this together. All right. Anyway, this is Dr. Sean over at the Natural Body Works. Don't forget to subscribe. Give me a thumbs up. Give me a thumbs down. If you give me a thumbs down, give me constructive criticism. Let me know why. And because I want to make these better for you guys. And anyway, this is we're all done. I'll talk to you guys soon. Talk to you later. Bye.